Hi there. In today's episode, we are going to learn how to use React navigation in our applications. I have been in your shoes before, how things work to fit together. So the way I teach, I make sure I explain every bit of code I write and where I get the resources so that at your own time, you can read the documentation and then able to understand than just coding without telling you where all the resources are coming from and how to use the documentation about a certain library. Okay, so in today's episode, we will talk about React navigation, as I said. And React navigation, we have 4 or 3 types. That is a stack navigation, drawer, and tab navigation. And the way I have structured this course, I'm going to break them into parts. I'm not combining them together to convince you. I'm not going to combine them to confuse you, like adding stack navigation, drawer, and tab together. And as a beginner, sometimes a little bit challenging. So pardon me and be with me. I'll break them into 3 parts. This section is for stack navigation. Next section, I'll talk about only drawer navigation. Third section, and I will talk about tab navigation. And the last section, I will combine the 3 together. Okay, so if I speak slow, you can speed me up. Okay, so now let's get started. As you can see on my screen, I have my first project open or created on my left hand side and my simulator already open here. If you don't know how to create projects, you can watch my beginning tutorials on how to create or install React application on your machine using Expo. Okay, so I assume that you don't have any knowledge in React navigation, and I'm going to teach you everything you need to build the application. So let's get started. Okay, so what we are going to do is now that we are going to create some screens. Okay, let's say 3 screens about posts. Okay, so without wasting my time, let's create our screen. So I will name my folder screens here. Okay, and the first one I'll make it post screen. Oh, sorry, let me make this one home screen. Okay, let me make it a little bigger so that we can see from here. Okay, home screen.js, and then I have this snippet. Okay, so I'll name this one as home screen, like so, and I'll create another full screen. I will say create post screen.js, and I have my snippet. It will give me both the component and the style. Okay, so I can say here create screen for my text here. Okay, and another screen will be post list screen, assuming we are creating a blog post application. Okay, so let me functional components, and then I'll name as my post screen. Okay, cool. Okay, one more. Okay, it's okay for this project. Okay, so now I have my screens created. Okay, so the next thing is the main reason why we are doing this demo is React navigation. So let's go to the official website, that is reactnavigation.org. Okay, so when you enter the website, this is the homepage. Okay, and we have different versions. That is come to versions. Often most application uses the 4 version, and this is the current version. Okay, so I'm going to start from ground roots, that maybe you don't have any knowledge about React navigation, but if you know something about it, you can also follow as a review as in the way of refreshing your knowledge. Okay, so now I'm using version 5. So first step is that let's install. I will show the guide where we will find all documentation so that we can also learn more. Alright, so get started. Let's use yarn, or you can use npm to install the package. I use yarn, so I'll copy yarn and then I'll go to my terminal here. Let me resize the window a little bit and let me come to my project. Let me clear my console and then let me paste the code. Oh, I couldn't copy, sorry, my side. So just paste it here and install. So as installing, you need to install a couple of packages, so you shouldn't be maybe overwhelmed about the main package you are going to install. By the end of the day, you get what you want. So hold on. So since I'm using Expo, it's installing dependencies into an Expo managed project. So I'll just copy this link. So I'll just use this shortcut, copy, and then come to the project. Let me clear my console one more time and then paste. Okay, so this one will install all the required versions for applications. Okay, so we are done. We are good to go. And if you are using React Native, you need to follow these instructions. Okay, if not, let's get started to start eating. Okay, so now let's talk about navigation in React. Okay, so here this summary, all what it's saying is that in the web we have an anchor a tag. If you have worked with web app before, you know how to use this a tag, okay, to point to a different link. But in React Native, it doesn't work in that way. Okay, it's a little bit different how you work around. So what you're going to do is that you're going to create a navigation called stack. Okay, so as the name implies, stack means that maybe if you have a book, okay, and then you put another book on top and then another one on top, you see, like in a stack form. Okay, so that's what we're going to create now. So before we get that, let's install the last package called installing the stack navigator library. Okay, so I'll use yarn. So we're going to create a stack navigation, so we need this. Okay, if you are going to create a tab navigation, you need to install tab navigation. Likewise, drawer, you install drawer navigation. So in our case, you're gonna install stack navigation like so. So I'll copy and then go to my console. Let me clear my console and then paste. Okay, good. So next, let's start eating. Let's start the actual work. Okay, good. So let me open my editor and then let me close this one for now. I'll come back to it later on, and I have my simulator here open. Okay, so now what we are going to do is that we are going to create a folder called navigation. If you have worked with React.js for the web before, you can see how we create deal with routes in React.js. For React-Navigation-5 is equally as same as how we handle navigation in React. Okay, so let's create our folder. We can create in one file, but for able to handle our files nicely, let me reduce the font size a little bit and then let me create my folder and say navigation. Okay, navigation. And then inside my navigation, okay, I can create, let's see, since I'm going to create stack navigation, I'll use the name stack navigation. Okay, .js. Good. So now let's go back to documentation. I just wanted to know how you can use your documentation. So if I'm a little bit slow, just pardon me for that, please. Okay. So what I have here is what is my okay, here is it. Okay. So the first step is that you need to create what is called stack navigator. We are going to wrap everything with what is called navigation container. Okay, so let's import the React import React navigation from native. Okay, and then inside we import navigation container. sorry, action, not action, but it's a container. Okay, so we're going to wrap all our applications with navigation container, so we can inject all the functions from the library for us. The next step is that we're going to create what is called stack navigation. Okay, stack navigation. So you import stack navigation from the package we installed, which is React Navigation Stack. Okay, and then let me pull out the stack navigation like so. So next, we are going to create maybe an instance of Stack Navigator, which will be like a function that we can pull out the functions we need in our application. So I will say const, I will say stack, okay, is equal to create stack navigator like so. Okay, so now this stack here is what you're going to work with. Okay, so if you do stack dot something, now let me something, if you say stack dot, you can see we have a bunch of functions on it. We're going to use these two, navigator and screen. Okay, so what we are going to do is that we are going to create a function here, a functional component, okay, that we are going to return. So let's create a functional component. We are going to house all our screens. So I will say const, maybe stack navigation, okay, main stack. I will say main stack navigation. You can name it the way you want it, but the name must be in line with what you're doing, and then it should return like this. Okay, so first we're going to return the navigation container, so it should wrap. Okay, and inside it we are going to call the stack we created, okay, and call what is called navigator. Okay, so this navigator is going to house or maybe injects all the functions from the library for us. So the next step is that this is the basis, this is the way we create navigation. First of all, you make sure you wrap all your components with a navigation container, and inside you have what is called navigator, and then inside here is what you are going to use, what is called a route. If you are work with what you call React just before, you can see maybe here will be route, and then you can say name blah 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 components. It's same here, but just that instead of route here we are going to use stack dot screen. Okay, so the screen is a component that is going to be rendered onto our application here. Okay, so remember, this screen accept the components we have created here. So screen, so I'm going to pass in the component here for the navigation to render. So we're going to pass all these components into it. So first I want to render home screen only. So what I will do is that I'll go to my navigation here, and the first prop and the required prop is name. Okay, this name is used by the navigation to determine the name of the route. So I'll call this one as name. We can make it whatever. Okay, so I'll make it as name. The next required component prop is component. Okay, and this component is what we are going to render, so I will call home screen. Okay, and I think I don't have the auto completion, so let me go back to my home screen, save it one more time. Okay, let me say home here, save it one more time, and then come back to I'm lazy to make import from blah blah, so I'll just make here home screen. Okay, it's good, I'm good to go. Good. So we are going to render, when we call this component, we are going to render first our home screen. Okay, our home component. So now you can see it's not shown on my screen on my left hand side. So what I'm going to do is that I have to export this component, and instead of rendering the app, I would rather render our navigation. Okay, and inside my navigation there I have my, what is it, I have my home component. Okay, so look at the flow. You create the navigation here, okay, and then you pull out all the components you want to render as a stack navigation, and then you export this component. Okay, so now let me export default called main stack navigation. Okay, so inside my app component, I can delete everything here. I don't want to render any of this, so instead I would rather render what is called main stack navigation. So now let me save it, and you can see, let me refresh my simulator, and you can see home. Okay, cannot find React. Good. So I think I have the problem here for my stack navigation, so I have to use React. Okay, so let me import React at the top here and say React. Okay, so I can see here import React from React. So let me save it and refresh it and see. Good. So you can see here that automatically the library has given us a nice bar here, and our components called home, which is here. We can see as that. Okay, but a little bit blurred. So if you use, let me also launch the Android and see how the tool looks like. So automatically the library has given you the name. You see the name here is what we use. Okay, pardon me. For the meantime, let me launch this Android simulator here. Okay, I think it's still running, so let me use it. So let me go to terminal, and then let me open the Android tool. Okay, I guess that I think it's here. The Android is here. Okay, so while we are waiting, okay, the Android is opening here too. So let me compare the two, and you see the differences between them. Okay, so as you can see, let me go over again. So if you're able to know how you can structure your code like this, you'll find it easier to use the React navigation. What happened? Oh, okay, let me, sorry guys. Okay, so you can see that the name here is what we use as a name prop on my screen component here as home. If I make here maybe home 2 and refresh it, let me refresh my simulator, and you can see as home 2 on the header. Okay, let's see home 2. So the name here is what it will appear here, and this name is very important because if you want to navigate from one screen to another, you need this name. Okay, so let me make it precise. Home. Okay, good. So now let me style this one a little bit so that it can be a little bit nice. So let's apply inline styling and say style is equal to, instead of, I would say flex, which is 1, justify content, which is be center. Okay, center here, and then let's say align item, which will be also center. Okay, so now let me see, where has it gone? Okay, I think, let me refresh it. Okay, I think I don't need to use justify content here. Okay, so let me see. Good. Oh, sorry, on my side. Let me save this one, and where is my text? Okay, I think the CSS has been applied through the navigation, the stack. Okay, so it means I'm not working about the CSS aspect. So as you can see here, okay, instead of text, since it's the home, let's render. Oh, sorry, I need to apply it to the actual. Oh, sorry guys. Let me, instead of text here, I will say text here. You can see home. Okay, home here, and let me apply the style to the main div, the main style. So style is equal to blah 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 flex is equal to 1, and then justify content. I already applied to the parent container. That is why I got a bug. Okay, so as you can see here, so let me push it to be align items. would also be center. Okay, good, we have it here. And let me enlarge the text of the style of the text as, let me see, font size. That one's supposed to be, let me see, 30. Good, we have it here, home. So now I want to place a link here. So now the question is, how can I, if I want to go to next screen, how can I do it? How can I move from home screen, let's say, to about screen? Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about now. So first, let's have a dummy button so that we can click on and see where we can. So we can see title will be, let me say, go to post. Okay, so when you click this button, it will take us to what? The post screen. Okay, so now when you click it, nothing happens. Remember, this button accepts an event called click events, so we call it on press. Okay, so on press, let me console log the log, say that press like so. Okay, so let me go to my terminal, and then you see automatically it has been pressed because I've called it so instead of this, I can make it not to call it by itself unless the button was clicked. So now let me click the button here and see. Now I was clicked or pressed. Good. So now the next question is, how are we going to, okay, before that, guys, let me show you some props you can pass in to this component. Very important. So now let's go back to, okay, before that, sorry guys, let me let's try to navigate from screen to screen, then come to the styling. Okay, the how the prop affects. Good. So now, how can we move from here to next screen? You know, we have some components here, some screens here, create, and then list screen. Okay. So what we are going to do is that, you know, remember that any component that we wrap with the stack navigation, we have important props. Okay, that this library has given to us to save us or to make our life easier. Okay, so now, since this component, this screen, this navigator also render this component, which is called the home screen. When you go to home screen, and then you console log the props. So since this component was rendered by React Navigation Library, it has injected some props we can use, okay, on this component. So now let's try and then console log this prop and see the important props and then other things the navigation has given to us. So we can say console.log props like so. So now let's see the screen. You can see as soon as it's the screen gets rendered, look at a bunch of props the navigation has given to us, bunch of them. We will not use most of them, but few of them which are important to us. And as you proceed and you want to enter into advanced React navigation, you can know where you can find yourself. So look here. So first, you can see we have a prop called navigation, which is an object. Okay, we're going to use navigation, this one, to navigate around our app. Okay, I'll talk a little bit most of these ones here, and if I show you how to do it, we can also know where we can find documentation and read more about it. Okay, so now let's talk about this navigation, which is an object. Okay, and this object accepts has many props like navigate, pop to push this. Okay, so first we are going to console log navigation dot navigate, okay, which is a function, and this function will help us to what, move from screen to screen. Okay, so now here when we say props dot navigation dot navigate, you can see it's a function. This here, our last prop, our last console log, you can see it's a function. Okay, and this function is what we are going to call the next screen on top of other screen, which is called the stack. Okay, so What we are going to do now is on the home screen, sorry, on the start screen, let's also use another screen called, let me say, screen. So instead of this home, I'll make it post, okay, which is name. I'll make it post, okay, post screen, and then component will be post what screen, post list. Okay, cool. So let me make it post because list of posts. Okay, so that is the post component. Screen is over here, post screen. Okay, so now on home we want to navigate to post screen. Okay, so remember we are going to use this name, okay, to able to identify the screen we want to move to. So this name is what? Post. Okay, so on home screen, look here, when we are on home screen, when we click on this one, we want to move to the post screen. Do you get it? Great. So what you are going to do is that always remember the name of the route you are going to move to. Okay, so on our home screen, which was rendered by the Stack Navigator and which has injected most of functions to that component, we can use that function called navigation.navigate to push or move to next screen. Okay, so on button press, instead of just console log press, I will just say that props, we can do destruction here, but for simplicity's sake, I'll make it like this. Props dot navigation dot navigate. Okay, and then a function. And you put here the name of the component you are going to render. So in here, I will use post. This name must be the same as the name you use as the name of your screen here, which is called post. Okay, so now when you save it and you go to the app, refresh it, and then you click on post, voila, you can see we have moved to post screen. Nothing shows here because in my post screen, I don't think I have text here. Good. So instead of this one, let me make it, sorry, let me use this. I want to put some text here. I'm lazy, so I just want to use the snippet to get me the styling. Okay, like so. So you see, I have my post screen text here, and the style has been given to me automatically by the. Let me change the text here. The background to be, let me say, pink. Hard-coded text. Okay, so when you look here, you can see I have my post screen, and look at the magic here. Automatically, navigation has given us this back button. We can go back, post, go back, post here. You see, this is what you call the stack. Okay, so here we can see we are on screen. When you click on go to post, this screen will be below, and then the post screen will be on top. Okay, that's why we call it stack navigation. So instead of go home, you can also place text here, maybe create, and to go to create screen. But for the sake of this tutorials, we will stick to this. Okay, to just like go to post. Okay, so now this is how we use the navigation to move around our screen. Okay, now we are almost done for this part. The next part is that we are going to style it, have some important props, how to pass in some params from maybe home to about and about to home. Okay, so let's pause here. The video is getting longer, and then the next lesson we will talk about the props of React navigation stack. I think these tutorials will be helpful to you. If not, you can leave comment below and I will attend to you. Thanks for watching.